So I have returned once again today to do the next episode in the 3 no Line saga, being episode 11. And as I know, I was not here on my birthday to actually cover this manga, this anime. I've got manga in my head now. I've got the Apple advert now playing. Yeah, as I was saying before. So yeah, I wasn't here on my birthday to actually cover this anime because I had no time. Plus, I actually elected to cover Occultic 9 instead, which, as I realized after I finished the episode, was a very much a mistake because, freaking hell, that anime was awful in the end. So yeah, that's why I was so late with this one, and I've kind of had a really, really weird, I would say, kind of schedule ever since. That's why I really haven't covered it. But I am back today to cover this said episode, and I'm kind of hoping we'll get a comfy episode this week because last week's one was kind of depressing as hell. Like, it really freaking was. It's actually kind of really hard to actually sit through, like, because it's really sad. But it kind of was a kind of awesome episode at the same time. It was a brilliant episode, yet so depressing exact same time is what I'm trying to say. But yes. Anyhow, let's actually get this show on the road. So I'm going to move my good old Crunchyroll over this way. Move that over that way because we don't need it now. And then let's actually put this into the fuller screens. And let's actually sit back, relax, and enjoy some 3 no Line. So in 3, 2, 1, let's begin now. Oh, this opening. I have not stopped constantly repeating this song in my head and also on the internet this whole entire week. It's on repeat all the time. It's like Yuri and Ice for me. Both of these ones I always do because it's just such good openings. Even the endings are really good as well. I wasn't the biggest fan of Bump the Chicken before, but after this actual anime came out, I kind of like him. So I'm not the biggest fan of the Kekai Sensen opening. I don't think it's as good as everyone makes it out to be. But this one's really good. Plus it's embellished in meaning as well, which is even better. Did Crunchyroll just skip through something just then? I think it did. I think it just skipped through the entirety of the first, second of the opening. That was depressing. Very depressing. Oh, man. I needed some downtime after good old JoJo, so I thought, you know what, 3 is a perfect anime to cool down with. I didn't cover it this whole entire week, so I thought, you know what, today will be the day. So I planned it all so freaking damn well. This hurts my soul. Merry Christmas as well. Also, Happy New Year as well. Right, already off to a really freaking depressing start. It hurts my soul because he's got no one else around to actually help him. Which is actually the most depressing thing in the whole entire universe when you think about it. Hurt my soul, feeling it in my heart. My headphones were actually working, just in case I was actually listening to this out loud. I was like, oh Christ, YouTube will kill me. Fears that I have as a YouTuber. Well, this is a terrible New Year's episode when you think about it. It's really depressing and be happy and everything like that. Like, yeah, New Year! Be like that. Nope. Fever dreams. Fevers. Not being able to actually get up. Freaking hell, for God's line. You would hope it's not the girl we don't want to see right now. Okay, she's way too attractive because... Okay, maybe it's not. It's Momo. This is awesome. This is good. This is better. I was gonna say, if we get AKA not the girl we want to see right now, it might be depressing. And just like that, it's happiness again. I also found today I actually can't say my words properly. Sometimes my mouth just gives out. I don't know why. Akari just being best girl of the universe. Akari's just too perfect. Look how cute this all is. So I just can't speak properly today. I don't know why. I love the perfect juxtaposition that exists with Akari's family. It's the perfect juxtaposition this actual anime needs, and it always hits at the perfect time as well. It's amazing how they do it. Like, I'll give it to Shimbo and everyone else that involved with the production because it's done so freaking damn well. And the cats as well. The cats are amazing. I'm hurting. My heart is actually hurting. Hit me straight in the feels. Damn, this actual anime is so freaking good. So he always has people around him that care about him, which is kind of cool. Even though he thinks he's on his own, everyone else is around to help him, which is actually kind of neat because he just basically tells you like, no one is alone in this world. There always is someone there. I love the cats that actually have voices. The cats that have voices are freaking amazing because it brings them to life. It's like what happened with Flying Witch. Exact same thing. They gave life to the cats in Flying Witch, so it actually felt more alive. It didn't feel like just pets there for no reason, and the fact they have to be there. Intrigue. Courage is the best thing on earth. Why is she so perfect? Oh, let's hit me straight. Straighten up. Why is this anime so bloody sad at the same time, kind of really freaking happy? I also kind of feel sorry for how like unaware Ray actually is sometimes, because he's really he is very much presented to be kind of unaware of his surroundings, of what really does actually happen, because he doesn't even recognize the fact he has people around him that care about him, and the fact he doesn't really realize there are people in the world who feel lonely as well. It's not him, which is even more sad. Momo's simply adorable. Happy New Year as well. Is it New Year where you are? Or if it's not, Happy New Year anyway. Hopefully everyone's happy. New Year will be very happy, and karma will shine brightly upon your soul, as old thing said in Carbonary. You can't. Simply adorable. It's tears by how beautiful this show actually is. He's starting to heal from all the trauma in his childhood and trust again. It's beautiful and fragile. It really much is. I always found this show to be one of those shows which it kind of tells you how. Oh my god, Nikaido got him a postcard. That just completely just. I was off a train of thought just then because Nikaido got sent a postcard. Oh man, this show. I think we've seen their aunt before, haven't we? Like I'm recalling like kind of very brief times we've seen the aunt. I swear we saw her like way back in like episode 5. Also, kind of like the fact that his past is always there with him anyway. It's not like he can actually fully get away from the past that he lived, but it's a fact is that the people around him have impacting him in a positive way, that it's not technically affecting him as much anymore. Like it's not like he has happier times nowadays, which kind of almost eclipse the better times he had, which is kind of nice because you have the characters pop up here and there from his past, which tend to be kind of depressing, but it's always then juxtaposed perfectly with happier times that he spends with Akira and everyone else, which actually is kind of nice. Major thing that actually this anime does really freaking damn well. I swear I've heard Auntie's voice before as well from somewhere else. So kind of learning different like New Year's things nowadays I haven't ever seen before, like having to wear like red, white, and blue, and yellow apparently as well, because each of them represents something different, and you actually have to hold lentils in your hand as well when you have to take the grapes, because one of the traditions is to eat grapes while actually kind of the thing counts down to 12 o'clock. So you actually have to hold lentils in your hand, because apparently that's actually like luck for money. So if you actually hold in your hand and eat grapes at the same time, you get a lot more money in the future, apparently. And as well, apparently, if you don't eat all the grapes at the actual given time, you won't have good luck, apparently. So if you do the whole grape tradition thing, which I don't know if not everyone celebrates that whole entire thing, but if you do, you actually have to eat the grapes all before the actual 12 o'clock thing strikes. Which actually is kind of neat, because I thought to myself, that makes sense. That was cute. What a nice ending to like kind of topsy-turvy emotional episode. Like it was like happy, freaking sad, happy again. They went whoo, back to that sadness, and it constantly did that for the whole entirety of the duration of the episode. But it ended really nicely. It had one of those really freaking nice endings. Oh man, this show is so freaking fantastic. There really is no faults with this show when you think about it. This show is just too good. Like, I would have called it the anime of the year, but it hasn't finished yet, so I really can't call it my anime of the year. But it's my anime of the year that hasn't finished. You get what I mean? Oh man. I love the motif of the water as well. That always constantly like follows him around. It's kind of a nice like callback, and also just constant reminder at the same time. And then actually how they juxtapose the entirety of this anime perfectly as well, with the constant sense of depression and kind of the past coming back, and then kind of impacting really suddenly, and then it kind of then juxtaposing it again with the happiness that he has as well. In essence, he's one of those people, as I said before, he's one of those people who's unaware, but he's kind of, I don't think he realizes how unaware he is as a person. I think he doesn't realize these things. again, as how I said before, I think he realizes more that he's an antagonist of this world when he doesn't really look for it. Then he's unaware of what's around him at the same time. Like he's more aware of how he's antagonizing this world than he is aware of what's going on around him. How he does have those people around him all the time that do help him. Like, I think it was really, really well done in this episode. I think it's a pretty appropriate time. So it's a new freaking hell, Nimbus episode's time. Whereas the Nimbus one came out today as well. Well, no, yesterday. But yeah, I think it's a pretty accurate time to watch episode because it's actually a New Year's episode, and since we're starting New Year, I think after tomorrow. I think New Year's Eve's tomorrow. So yeah, I think it's actually probably, wait, no, New Year's Eve is tomorrow. I'm gonna say I forget what days I'm on, but yeah. But I think that's what I was trying to say before. Might just reiterate what I was trying to say to make more sense. My head's out of control. What I'm trying to say is the fact that I think he's less aware of the people around him and how he actually does feel welcome, how he does feel loved, and everything else in between, than anything else. Because he's unaware of those things, but he's aware of how he kind of is antagonizing this world. Like he's not truly looking for that idea. That's the one thing I think he's more aware of more than anything else. I think that's what kind of. I think maybe his past overshadows everything else around him, which kind of is a stigma that he has. It's one of those things. I think this anime is trying to kind of drum in the fact that he has to get past the past, actually kind of move forward in the future. And I think maybe as time goes on, he actually might fully get past that idea. I think maybe last week's episode was the perfect kind of starting point. Like it's actually slowly coming together. I think he's actually slowly getting past the past. I think he actually might slowly improve as time goes on. I think that's what this anime is trying to say. But I still like the fact that he's always kind of reminded of these people around him. Like, look, don't worry. Like you say you're alone, but you're not, because yeah, that's why his foster sister is so easy able to torment him. So yeah, it's true. I think it's perfectly like explored through his foster sister. I think her as a character is perfectly illustrated that idea. I think maybe at one time he might be able to kind of just speak his mind towards her and actually just kind of maybe in a way just kind of just say, look, the whole entire time of my childhood you put me through torment. Like this can't go on anymore. I can't live like this. I want to tell you everything I feel so you actually understand truly what I went through as a child. But at the same time, you have to counteract the argument that actually, when you think about it, not the same as he went through, but she did kind of have not the best upbringing once she realized that she was less than Ray, which is really freaking depressing when you think about it, because again, it was shown how Ray was kind of chosen over the rest of them because he was a child prodigy, because he was the person that actually might kind of freaking. My earphones on my shoulder, but he was the person that was chosen over everyone else because he was a prodigy child, and it kind of was depressing because I just felt like they were singled out because they weren't kind of the best, and it's kind of shown how everyone else off that point just kind of gave up. They didn't really kind of feel anything towards Shogi, and I think it was even driven by the point when his father got him a Shogi set. It's kind of almost pouring salt into the open wounds, and I think maybe that's why she might be so bitter. But at the same time, I don't think she should have I don't think it's kind of warranted to torment him at the same time, because it's not nice towards him because he just can't get past anymore. He's stuck the way he is forever until he gets past that. I think maybe once he actually manages to actually speak his mind towards her, I think he actually might be able to actually kind of build a better future. I think maybe once he realizes fully what these people do towards him, like in essence, how Akari impacts his life, how Nikaido impacts his life, I think that's maybe when he actually move forward. I think that's maybe kind of when he fully realizes all these things, because he's slowly doing it. Don't get me wrong, it's slowly showing these things. But I think maybe his foster sister needs to kind of be put in a place for him to be fully able to move on, if you get what I mean. I think she is the kind of fork in the road when you think about it. She's the thing that's kind of stopping him, because it's always a constant reminder. It's the constant reminder of his past, which is actually not something he does not want to remember, because we've seen it. He wants to get past it, but he's always constantly being brought back towards it, which doesn't always help him. I think that's the kind of depressing point. That's why he kind of doesn't realize these things around him. I think that's the more depressing part, because he's unaware. He's even unaware how alone Akari is, because Akari even says it. Look, if you weren't here, I would be cleaning up on my own and crying. You see, just then and there, there's more people in this world who are alone. It's not just him. He doesn't realize these things. He's kind of, sort of in a way, and you don't want to say it, he's really kind of a little bit self-centered. He kind of thinks about himself, but doesn't think about the wider picture. He's got to build external offense and increase the love in his life to build the strength he needs to do so. But until he breaks free, if her torment, she's his first love. It's so fragile. It's true. I think this show perfectly explores this whole entire idea of how the past can really just torment a person. How you just can never fully get past that whole entire idea. How if you grow up in this kind of like, I guess, this environment, it can affect you in the future. I think it's perfectly explored through Ray, because it's depressing, because when you think about it, he is an antagonist in this world, but he doesn't look for it. Like he's one of those people who really think about it. He's completely harmless, but he's an antagonist as well at the same time, because the way that people kind of explain him and actually kind of put him into perspective, it kind of makes what he does really freaking like overly like kind of scary. Because look what happened last time when, forget the name, I'm gonna Google it right now because just in case I forget. I'm gonna Google his Foster's name. I swear it's Kyoko. I want to remember it's. I want to say it's Kyoko, but I want to kind of make sure, just in case I'm saying it wrong. I don't want to sound like an idiot. Kyoko, that's it. I thought it was one of them, but anyway, yeah, I think that's what I was trying to thought just then. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. How Kyoko explained last week about how he was the week before. It was then how he was really kind of putting down this, how him defeating that old man was really kind of putting down an old dog. It kind of in a way puts a different spin on the whole entire thing, because again, he's going there for a normal game, but when he's told, look, you're not doing it as a normal game because you're tempting this guy out of his misery, you're kind of in a way killing him. Like, it's kind of depressing. He kind of is antagonizing as well. I think he's aware of it, but I don't think he's aware of anything else around him. I don't think he's aware of how Nikaido really does care about him, because it's shown. Nikaido kind of in a way loves him as a friend. Like, he cares about him deeply, like even more than himself sometimes. And it's kind of depressing how I don't think he kind of realizes these things, and he kind of goes past them. And I think maybe Kyoko has to go from his actual mind. I think she needs to kind of be left outside for him to actually finally move on. I think that's the major thing. Their friendship is based on Satoshi. Huh. It's actually interesting. I never knew that. That's really cool. But yeah, that's how I'm kind of seeing things. I think what this show is trying to say is the past. I think the past never leaves you, but you yourself have to kind of build that bridge and actually kind of get past and actually build a better future. That's what I think this anime is trying to say. I think this anime is trying to portray that idea. In essence, the past will always be there, but until you actually get past that past, then you never gonna get anywhere, because you always constantly be stuck in that stigma. Because it's shown that beginning how, again, perfect example, it's shown in his house. His house is the prime example how really, when you think about it, he's isolated and alone. He's not in his own mind loved by anyone. He's kind of on his own. Excuse me. But then he isn't at the same time. That's a problem. So what this anime juxtaposes perfectly. In essence, how he was on his own for the best part, about 5 minutes, but then the doorbell goes and Akari and everyone else appears. The people who love him, the people who respect him, the people who care about him, as a kind of like a family member. Like he feels like an outsider to a family who actually welcome him as a member of the family. It's what it's also trying to say. It's a constant theme of the outsider. Even when Ray was with his foster family, he still felt like an outsider. He didn't really feel a part of that family completely, because when you think about it, he kind of almost in a way destroyed some of the actual kind of relationships within that family. So he always felt like an outsider. So maybe that's why as well he can't fully kind of, I guess, like, I don't know what to say, can't fully get like kind of accustomed to the family. He can't actually become a family member just yet, but until he gets past that past part of his life. Maybe that's the whole entire thing. I don't know. That's how I'm seeing things. I think it's actually kind of really well explored. I think it's really well done. I think the whole entire anime is amazing and perfect. How it's doing every single thing perfectly. It puts a lot of shows which are driven by characters to shame, because it is. It's just so well done. Like, Raid's character is amazing because you do sympathize with him slightly as well. Like, maybe people in the world do go through something similar to him, and you do empathize with him slightly. I mean, even though I can't say for myself, but I do kind of feel sorry for him at the same time. That's why him meeting his younger self in closing credits is so touching. It's like he's been submerged in grief until now. He's really been on hold as a person until now. It's true. I agree with that completely. I don't know, because I don't know. I think maybe as well. I don't know what I'm trying to say. He just went. My brain said had an idea. I went nope. Like, no idea for you, Joe. Your brain won't tell you anything because your brain's too tired. But no, I think this show is the best anime of 2016. It didn't end, because this anime didn't end truly in 2016. So I really can't call it anime of the year of 2016 because it didn't finish. But it's the best anime of the year that did not finish, because it just does everything perfectly. So it's a brilliant show. It's a character-driven show which also perfectly illustrates the idea of family. It's a major thing. It perfectly illustrates the idea of family, friendship, and trust and bonds. That's the other major thing it does perfectly. It's this idea, this theme, and also the themes of the past revisited and everything else in between. So glad the series turned out this well. It's my favorite manga since like 5 years, and I was so nervous when the anime got announced. I wasn't worried when I heard Shaft was doing it, because whenever I hear Shaft doing an anime, I'm like, yeah. I don't think they'll do a bad job, because they never want to actually F up a manga series. I mean, yeah, they've had some hiccups here and there, don't get me wrong, but they're not the kind of levels of, I'd say, Bones, who sometimes do freaking good shows, but are really kind of hit and miss. And I have a slew of amazing shows, and they just kind of Bones just go instantly. But I'm glad that Shaft did it, because I can't think of another studio who could have done it. Like, I don't think Madhouse could have done it perfectly. I don't think Bones could have done it. I don't think Silverlink. I don't think Statelight. I don't think anyone could have done it like Shaft. Shaft does have a knack for something, and they can do it perfectly. I mean, they even perfectly illustrate his character through camera angles. I mean, as well, I kind of drum on about it too much, but I think it's a lost art, and when it's done perfectly, it's amazing. You should always kind of value it. It's this idea of isolation through camera angles and the height difference. Like that one shot last week as he was running away from that bloke, that was kind of perfect in its own right, because he was so small compared to the world itself, and it kind of just shows you how isolated he really is. How he doesn't really feel, he's not really, when you think about it, the protagonist of this world. You wouldn't really kind of call him the main character. He doesn't really kind of evoke all these ideas, because his mental stigma that he has, the kind of past he has, kind of limits how he acts towards the world. Because as you saw, he doesn't really command the scene. He doesn't really overtake that scene and say, I'm the protagonist here and I will overtake this scene. I'm going to take this over. He doesn't do it. Like, it's rare when he does. And then everyone else tends to do it perfectly. Everyone else, like Akari does it, Kyoko does it. Like, she commands the scene, and so does Akari. Akari does it perfectly as well. Every other character does it besides Ray, which is actually kind of depressing, because he is the main character, but he isn't the main character at the exact same time. He's isolated. He's trapped. Until he gets past that mental stigma, he actually can never, ever grow towards to be this main character that we want him to be. He's not the kind of conventional main protagonist I've seen in an anime. That's the major thing as well. You know, he's very akin to someone you would see in a Hitchcock film. That's what I'm kind of like drawing parallels towards. Like, everyone's draw parallels. He's kind of very much like Scotty from Vertigo. Like, not the same kind of capacity, but you get what I mean. Like, Scotty as well was kind of isolated. He was trapped by his own mental stigma, his mental kind of thing that he had, the vertigo, that he could never become the protagonist, and that's why his love died technically twice, which is kind of an interesting thing as well, and also I think explored as well in Rear Window. But you get what I mean. If you understand where I'm coming from, you probably get what I mean. But yeah. don't know how long we've been speaking. Oh, 40 minutes. And I've done pretty well for today. Yeah, but that's basically it, I think. Things going off my watch. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for regards to this week. I think it's actually a pretty amazing episode because it's a perfect juxtaposition from last week. It still contained depressing points, but it managed to actually juxtapose it perfectly as well at the same time. It didn't really kind of feel... It didn't feel like it was actually overpowering the whole entire episode. There was still this idea of love, this idea of welcomeness, this idea of comfiness. It's still freaking there. But I think it was well implemented into the kind of depressing parts. I think it just perfectly illustrated the juxtapositions anime has. I think it's just one of those animes that needs to be celebrated a bit more. Like I see people covering it, but I'm kind of like, everyone should be watching this show more than anything else in the season from last season. I think this show deserves more attention than, say, Drifters or something like that, which actually is kind of depressing, but that's what happens. Again, I'm guessing people just kind of go, oh well, it's a slice of life show. You probably won't remember it in T-minus 5 seconds. What's the point? I'm kind of like, you know what? Despite that situation, I kind of remember all the actual kind of comfy shows I've watched this whole entire year. I remember them fondly. Like, it's one of I think they have the best kind of experiences of shows I've had this whole entire year. I think that's what they do perfectly. Actually, it's kind of depressing. It is very criminally underrated. Like, it's got an 8 on Mal, but it's still kind of underrated for that. I mean, if you kind of take it, for example, I mean, ReZero, I think it deserves what the score that ReZero's got. Like, it deserves about an 8.75, just about there, because it's good. It's amazing. It deserves it more than Boku Gaina Machi as well. God, that show does not deserve its 8.65. What can you do? People held it as a masterpiece. But yeah, anyway, you get what I mean. My head's all crazy now. But I don't know why people say this. I don't know why people say that if a show is just about slice of life, you don't get anything. It's just like, no. If it's done by, god damn, my hair's gone crazy. If it's done well, you got yourself a good show. It's just sometimes I guess people kind of remember the worse ones than the better ones, which then kind of overshadow the good ones that exist within them. But anyway, it's like Flying Witch as well. Another example. Flying Witch got. No one watched it. I was like, why is no one watching this show? It's amazing. It's perfect. And it was like, it made no sense. And then same thing happened with Funo wa Amu as well. No one watched it. And I mean, I haven't watched the whole entire series yet because I couldn't catch up with it because I had a load of work going on. But still, it was amazing and no one watched it. I was kind of like, why? To an extent, I guess Showa Rakugo no Shinju had the exact same problem as well. But tis life, as they say. The shows you really want to get noticed don't get noticed. The ones that you don't want to get noticed so much, get noticed all the time, which is depressing. I mean, yeah, Yuri on Ice deserves its place, don't get me wrong, it's still a good show, but stuff like ReZero, which people don't technically kind of realize the flaws within it, it's really kind of depressing because shows like this, which are completely perfect, don't ever get any recognition. That is life. Same thing happens with movies as well. Like, so many movies I wish kind of got a lot better rating than they did, but they don't. Such is life, as they say. But anyway, enough of that. So, until next time, I've indeed been the driver. If you have enjoyed what I do here, and you want to leave a like, then do leave a like, because indeed, it does quite a bit. If you have enjoyed my content, and you want to leave a sub, then do leave a sub, because indeed, it does happen quite a bit. But until next time, which will probably be tomorrow, I think, with 3 Guts in a Line, I shall see you guys later.